This is one where we've seen Manaea have success in his career, notably in Oakland. We've also seen him as recently in 2022 with the Padres really struggle at times. What did you make of the Mets adding him to the back end of their starting rotation?
The Mets really need like competent major league pitchers, and Sean Manaea is a competent major league pitcher. And I think one thing that we need to realize is I think when Manaea was younger, there was a lot of perception about him. He was a highly regarded prospect. He was someone that people had hopes they could be a frontline guy, and that's just simply not what he is. With that said, over the last year, and we talked about this a little bit on last week's show, he's revamped some things. He went to Driveline. I posted the video on my Twitter. He realized he had a torso and he could use it to his benefit when he pitches.
He's a
He
big
used
guy.
He's a big guy, just never used his torso. He never used a weighted ball before, which is like a modern day like training thing. So he really has been a guy that performed as well as he has, all things considered, like at least an at league average to slightly above average league average pitcher for his whole career, while doing no modern day training, not utilizing his torso and his delivery. Now he does. And you saw an uptick in the velocity up to 97. You saw the sweeper. That's like the big story now is he has this magical sweeper that he found at the end of May, and he was dominant with it, which is all factual. I mean, nobody could touch his sweeper. He developed it around the end of May. But what I find interesting is people are correlating that sweeper to his September success that you mentioned at the end of the year. They put him back in the rotation for, I don't know the reason, maybe like they just needed arms to start and they just put him out there, and he was dominant in the month of September. However, he threw 2 sweepers in the month of September. So I mentioned it on last week's show. The sweeper is probably more beneficial for like a same-handed thing, lefty-lefty, righty-righty, not so beneficial to face opposite hands. So it may be something you don't want to use too much as a starting pitcher, but long story short, they signed a competent major league starter that had an uptick in stuff and results in the second half of last season. So there is probably some perceived upside that he could be at least a league average starter, if not better, given last year's league average ERA is 4.33. The standard's not all that crazy to be an above average starter in the major leagues nowadays.